Welcome back to the capsON podcast. Nick is making faces over there. It is week 6 of the NFL season. Last week for week 5, we went 7-1 as a squad between Easy Money and Make the Case. Sam was the lone dog with the Bengals plus 12.5 pick. They got blown out by the Ravens.
Wasn't me.
3 points.
Wasn't me.
Yeah, definitely wasn't Sam. Yeah, but we're going to jump in this week with the Sunday night game first. Then we're going to go into Easy Money. Then we're going to go into Make the Case, and then 2 Monday night games this week. One was supposed to be the Thursday game. I'm not exactly sure which one, but it's irrelevant at this point because they're both being played on Monday.
I prefer Tuesday football.
Yeah, Tuesday football was nice yesterday.
It was nice.
Not nice for my wallet, but it was nice.
Tuesday's usually my day off where I try to avoid the FanDuel app. So it kind of hurt to take the Bills, but it happens. Now we know for next time not to bet on Tuesdays.
Speaking of the Bills, who was the first game? Monday. Oh, we're talking about Sunday night. Sorry, I was getting excited about Monday.
No, that's what we call a bad segue.
Yes. That's why
I'll give you a good segue.
That's why Stick is the man.
Sunday night. All right. We have the Los Angeles Rams visiting the San Francisco 49ers. It's an 8:20 start on Sunday night. The line set at Rams minus 3.5 on the road. Money line for the Rams at minus 180. You can get the Niners at plus 150. Total set at 51.5. Initial thoughts. What do you guys got?
I have no idea what either of these teams are.
I agree. It's tough.
You look at the Rams, even statistically, they're great defensively. Offense looks good, but then take a second look. They've played the entire of NFC East. And it's kind of hard not to look really good against the NFC East.
Mm-hmm.
And their other game besides NFC East was against the Bills, which, it was a tale of two halves. One where they got their shit kicked in the first half, and then they were able to come back and make it a game. So it's hard to gauge what kind of team they are.
Let me give you some numbers here because you mentioned the offense too. They have really simplified things from what they were doing last year and really went back to their roots. And that's what made them a Super Bowl team a couple of years ago against the Patriots. It was simple. It was motion offense. And obviously they have their guys back at 100%. Last year, Cooper Kupp towards ACL. So that obviously hurt a little bit. But in my notes, I have bounce back Rams offense. They're 5th in EPA per play, that they're 10th in success rate, and they're 2nd in offensive DVOA. So they're a top 10 defense in pretty much every major statistical, advanced offensive category, whatever you want to call it, or whatever you want to buy into that. And it's showing. Their defense is solid too. They lead the NFL in sacks with 20, and that's pretty much on the shoulders of Aaron Donald, right? So I don't think the 49ers really hold a candle to, well, they don't play in Candlestick anymore. They play in Levi.
They don't hold a gene. They don't
hold the genes to they don't hold the genes to
well,
they can't press the Rams genes. How about that?
There you go.
I'm taking Rams minus 3.5. But
yeah, I agree with the Rams minus. You talked about the lackluster offense that the 49ers have.
Mm-hmm.
And who do they have catching the ball besides Brandon Ayuk?
Right. And the Rams have Jalen Ramsey.
Back, is he not?
I don't think it matters.
I mean, the Rams have the second best rated pass defense. They're the second best passing defense, and they're locking down Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, and I mean, really, there's only George Kittle. Garoppolo didn't play the full game last week, and even when he did, he looked like garbage.
Is it going to be Garoppolo or Beathard, though? Or Beathard?
It doesn't matter.
I like Beathard. Beathard sounds a little bit cooler.
I'm pretty sure it's
Beathard. A little bit cooler. It is Beathard, but I like Beathard. He has to earn a proper name in my book. So
listen, I think the Rams' defense here is good for at least a turnover or two in this game, especially with their defensive line. They basically stop the pass by themselves, and then Aaron Donald can manhandle the middle of the field. And like you said, the Rams look like a different offense. They've simplified everything. Now they have a running back by committee in the backfield, so they don't feel forced to give it to Ty Gurley.
And this is a Niners team that is still hurting on defense. Richard Sherman's still on the IR. Their defensive line is decimated. It's tough to.
They're missing Bosa and Solomon Thomas.
Solomon Thomas. They brought in Ezekiel Ansah to kind of shore it up. D Ford's out. It's a different 49ers team than it was last year.
I like the Rams minus. I mean, don't see the Rams not winning this game. I mean, you look at the better play calling too on the offensive side of the football. I mean, the way McVay runs that offense, and he has so many weapons between Higbee and even Gerald Everett, the tight end, and then you have Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods on the outside. You have a three-headed monster in the backfield between Darrell Henderson, Malcolm Brown, and Cam Akers, which he's coming back too. I mean, I think it's an easy LA Rams -3.5.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm completely in agreement there. Like the Niners and the Rams have both played similar schedules. I think one of you guys mentioned that earlier. The Niners have wins against the Giants and the Jets, and they've lost to the Cardinals, the Eagles, and the Dolphins. I mean, the Rams have beat the entire NFC East and lost to Buffalo by 3 points in Buffalo. These two teams right now, I mean, even fully healthy, I think I would take the Rams over the Niners because for whatever reason, like the Rams always just play solid football when Jared Goff isn't playing quarterback like an idiot, which he hasn't really been this year. Like that's really the thing. Like it's all dependent on the quarterback.
Yeah, that's
play in
most
LA.
teams.
Yeah, I'm on the Rams -3.5. I mean, I don't see any other way for this. Like the Niners got killed by the Dolphins. Killed.
Gotta hop on that
Destroyed.
before it moves.
We had the pick
Goff
right
isn't
here
really
on
even
the
turning the
capsON
football
podcast.
over. Goff isn't really turning the football over as much as he used to. He doesn't look as bad on the road as he did last year. So
I am concerned why this is only 3.5. Like to me, this seems like 5.
It's in
Rams
San
on
Fran.
the road. It's probably because Rams on the road, and you know, Goff on the road the past couple of years has been atrocious.
That makes sense.
And you know, I didn't know how he was going to respond this year, and he's playing pretty well this year. And I got to give it to him.
No fans though. Kind of well, I don't know. I don't think they're having fans in San Francisco.
No
I
way.
think California's a hot zone now. So I don't.
But then you take the travel out of it too, because they're going from LA to Santa Ana. I don't know.
What kind of travel is that? A 2-hour bus ride?
I don't know. But it's California, so 2 hours. Yeah,
It's all the same
it probably doesn't
I
make that big
feel
of a
like LA
difference.
to San Fran's like 4 or 5.
I don't
Either
think
way,
that's
not important.
So San Fran -3.5. I mean LA -3.5.
LA -3.5.
In agreement. All right.
Dang.
Oh, that's not good.
Let's move this on to easy money. I will kick it off here and kind of play a little bit off of the game that we watched, I guess, 2 nights ago by the time you guys are listening to this. I'm going to go with the Houston Texans against Tennessee Titans, and I'm going to pick the Titans -3.
It looked good.
It was on the
3?
Bills. It's only a 3-point game, which is wild. I mean, I don't know why the spread is set this low. Houston, if you look at their past games, they've lost to every good team they've played against and beat the only bad team they've played against. And the losses coming against the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Steelers, the Vikings, and beat the Jaguars. The Titans are undefeated. They've beaten everybody so far, and they look really, really good.
They beat the hell out of Buffalo.
They looked really, really good yesterday, and even on a week
not
with
really
no
practicing.
literally a week with no practicing. I just think this is a gimme game right here. I don't know why the line is set so low. Like, I know the Houston offense is somewhat of a threat. I mean, they have guys that can really move the ball down the field, but I mean, Deshaun Watson's not to be slept on by any means, but look, I'm going with the the Tennessee Titans -3. And I mean, they play complete football. Like, this is really it.
They're a really well-disciplined team, and that's kudos to Mike Vrabel, who came in there, kind of took that job, and made them perennial contenders for the past couple of years.
And going off of Tennessee, I mean, also having Derrick Henry, who's an absolute monster. I mean, teams obviously look to eliminate that part of Tennessee's offense. And you can't. Like, you really can't. Like, you look at Buffalo's defense, who's so good, especially against the run. They can't stop him. You know, and once you can't stop him, you open up play action. You open up the deep pass. You open up the check down to Jonnu Smith in the tight end position, and you can't stop him. And all Tannehill has to do is make these little dink and dunk passes, and they're fine.
I mean, one major stat from the game last night or 2 nights ago, Tuesday night, that really stuck out to me is the fact that the Tennessee Titans run the 4th most play action in the league. And I mean, that's just a testament to the run game that they have, because you can just lean on Derrick Henry, and then the second you start to slow it down, not even stop it, slow it down a little bit, they can get guys like Jonnu Smith open, like you just said, Nick, A.J. Brown. It just creates so many opportunities and really simplifies the offense for Ryan Tannehill, because you can get him out of the pocket, you can get him protected in the pocket behind that good offensive line, and they just go to work. Like, they play good football. Who's up?
I could go. I'm taking the Packers -2.5 against the Bucks as my easy money game. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not overly inspired by the football that I've seen the Bucks play.
I'm just gonna stop you. I have him at a pick 'em.
Yeah, I have him at a pick 'em.
Oh, you had to pick them?
Yeah.
Oh, when I did this afternoon, it was.
I mean, if you're taking the Packers, then go for it.
I'm gonna take the Packers and a pick 'em. I bet this the other day. I bet this on Monday morning, and it was -2.5 because I thought it was good. Yeah, so I'm kind of screwing myself there. I'm probably gonna double down on it though. But the Packers are coming off a bye week, right? And to me, they're the best team in the NFC. They look like, I don't know if it's Aaron Rodgers playing pissed off because they drafted Jordan Love, or Aaron Rodgers said on another podcast that his worst, his down years is a good quarterback's career year. He gets a lot of unnecessary hate for no reason, whether he's an asshole or not. That's not for me to decide. But he's a damn good quarterback. And I don't think the Bucks are really what they set out to be this year. They've struggled with injuries. With on the offensive side, they've missed Godwin, they've missed Evans. Tom Brady has kind of looked a little Jekyll and Hyde. I have in my notes here the first 2 weeks: 256 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 picks. Weeks 3 through 5, 919 yards, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception. So he's starting to pick it back up. But this is a Packers defense that is really solid. They limit the big play. They don't take the ball away a lot, but I don't think Tom Brady's going to really throw in situations where he can get the ball taken away. So I just think that plays into the Packers limiting their plays. If this is going down to a pick 'em because people believe in Tom Brady and people like that Bucks team for whatever reason, I think it's going to be high. It's going to be high scoring. I think the total's at 54, but I think the Pack have the better all-around team, and it's -2.5. Or I guess I'm taking them in the pick 'em, which makes me feel a little bit better.
I mean, 100%. I mean, you look at the quarterback play in both of these teams. Tom Brady hasn't really been inspiring. He hasn't really played as great as people were hoping he was going to. He's just kind of been skating by.
Mm-hmm.
He just barely got past the Chargers 2 weeks ago. He couldn't get past the Bears last week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's going to get past the Packers this week.
This is the Packers team that's coming off a bye, so presumably they're planning for him for 2 weeks. So
yeah, after how many years of game tape they have on him too. I mean, come on. And I think the Bucks defense is way overhyped. Especially going into the year, they were hyped up as a good pass rushing defense. They were able to stop whatever. But Aaron Rodgers, it don't matter. I mean, he's supposed to be getting Devontae Adams back. He's throwing a Robert Toyin at the tight end position. Who is that? And
I don't think it makes a difference whether or not Aaron Rodgers has weapons or not. He's going to be able to find people. And Matt LaFleur is going to be able to scheme those guys open. He's been successful at doing that when he was in Tennessee. He's been successful at doing that now. So it's easy money for me, Packers. That's all I have to say on the subject.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna go quick, and I can't wait to talk about this. It's going to be the Miami Dolphins -8.5.
You're riding the Miami train.
I'm riding the Miami train. Okay,
I don't blame you.
I believe in Miami. I 100% believe in the Miami Dolphins here. The Jets are 0-5 against the spread this year. They're 4-12-1 in their last 17 against AFC East opponents. Now, the Jets they're overall 0-7 when games aren't started by Sam Darnold. I doubt he's going to play again. They don't.
He's already out.
He's already out.
He's already out.
He's out.
Okay. They don't have a running back. You're to be starting, museum artifact Frank Gore. Who is Joe Flacco going to throw the ball to? It seems like the Jets can't move the football. It doesn't matter who's playing quarterback. It doesn't matter who's doing anything. The Miami Dolphins look like they're on a mission this year under Brian Flores and just overall the team. The Fitzmagic is real. This is their chance to kind of beat up on their AFC East opponent, who's kind of give them a run for their money the past, 5-10 years. Overall, the Miami offense has been playing fantastic, and their defense has been playing well too. This is just a game where I look at the Jets and I just can't put my money on anything that the Jets do. I don't care if they're home. I don't care if they're away. I don't care about anything. I don't believe in the Jets at all, and I believe in the Miami Dolphins. I believe in them all year, and guess what? I'm going to believe in them again today.
You said 8.5 points?
It's 8.5 points.
8.5 points is almost begging for you to take the Jets at plus 8.5. But it's like, I don't know for what reason anybody would bet on the Jets. I think the Jets could be like 13-point dogs in this game, and I'd still probably tell you to stay away
And that's
at the very
thing.
least.
I mean, I just don't think the Jets stand any chance against any opponent they play this whole entire year. I think they get blown out of the water. Their defense ranks 31st in like overall defense. It's not good. And you watch them play. Like, I mean, I don't even watch the full games. You just kind of, when we watch Red Zone or anything like that, they're just getting picked apart left and right. It just looks embarrassing.
Yeah.
They don't want to be out there. They just lost arguably their best player on the team. Like, why would they even bother showing up this game?
I saw it's on Glenn DeNegris' story, our host of our Base Hit Ball 4 show. It was a screenshot. I'm going to try to find it right now because I was laughing at it. It's regarding the Jets. Let's see.
Before you go, I
It's
want
not-
to.
It's not there anymore, but it said like team issues for the Jets, and the only answer there was football.
Oh yeah,
Football. Their
They're
issue is
terrible
playing
at everything.
football.
I mean, okay, so I mean, I guess I have another. I guess I don't know. I guess this is make. Okay, well, wait. I got another make the case. Go ahead, Sam. Go ahead.
Thank you, Nick. So I have a little bit of a trend now, I guess, with my easy money picks. As for the third consecutive week, I will be betting against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'll be taking the Detroit Lions -3 on the road in Jacksonville. And this is something maybe not as extreme as the betting against the Jets every week, but I know I'm gonna keep doing it until it fails me. Like the Jaguars, everyone thought, oh, they might be good. It's same thing like against the Colts, and they've looked like crap since then. And Detroit, what are they, 1-3? But 2 of those games they blew big leads against Chicago and what was the other one? New Orleans. And both those teams are significantly better than the atrocity that is the Jacksonville Jaguars. And they beat a solid Arizona team. I'm not looking at a lot of stats for this, but I'm going to keep betting against the Jaguars until it fails me. The Jets honestly compete with the Jets for the number 1 overall pick.
I don't think that's a bad play at all. That Jacksonville defense is struggling, and rightfully so. They're made up of a bunch of first and second year guys. You look at their outside corners, and it's like C.J. Henderson from Florida. He looks hot and cold. So I don't know if I feel like Detroit, at least offensively, is a solid enough team to pick them apart.
They have weapons.
They're
Stafford's
good.
still a good quarterback.
You have a fully healthy Kenny Galladay too, who just sat out a full week.
Their thing, and I was reading this on Twitter, and I apologize to the individual who tweeted it or the statistician that found it, but it's like they like rely on game script, whatever your definition of that is, more than like any team in the league, where they dominate the first half, where they're like passing the ball at more frequently than they're running the ball, and then they come out in the second half and run the ball. In that second half, when they run the ball, whether it's to buy their defense a little more rest or something along those lines, or try to bleed out the clock because your defense is going to bleed out the lead, it's something to monitor. So if they're looking at that, and if they're aware of that stat, and I can assume like a team is aware of a stat if somebody finds it at least one way or another, I would look for them to try and like buck that trend and be like, man, we're losing leads because we're running the ball and we're not getting anywhere, and our defense is getting back out there anyways. Let's just keep throwing the ball, So if they come out and they're like Matt Stafford, just go, like just keep throwing.
That's all
Galladay's going to find you. Marvin Jones
just throw the ball.
Right. So if they keep throwing the ball, I think that's easy money. I'm with you. But if they decide that like, hey, we need to run the ball because our defense stinks and we need to bleed out this clock, then you might be in a little bit of a danger zone, because that Jacksonville offense probably can't keep up with you, but they can keep it close enough, I think. So as long as you keep attacking that Jacksonville defense with an air raid type of offense, I think you're good.
I mean, the Jags have lost their past 3 games by a total of 44 points. They lost to Miami, Cincinnati, and Houston. 3 not great teams. And after showing out week 1 against Indianapolis, they've definitely fallen off of a cliff. And like we talk about, like you said, their defense is just getting torched. I mean, their offense
Mhm.
can hang, but their defense is just getting torched. And
Mhm.
Detroit has always been that offensive powerhouse where they can put up the points, they just can't stop the points from being put up.
Yeah.
Give Matt Stafford the ball, let him throw the ball
Yeah,
45
let
times.
him.
Who cares?
We see. Let Russell Wilson cook. How about let Matt Stafford cook? Screw it.
I don't know about Cook. Let him microwave.
Let him sous chef. Oh, okay, that works too.
Yeah. All right. Go
All
ahead.
right. So let's move on to make the case. Anybody want to start this off or no? Should I start it?
You could start, Stick.
Start it off, Stick.
Okay, I am going to make the case for the Cleveland Browns +3 over the Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right.
That was what I was gonna say.
I
Yes!
just think that the
Yes!
Pittsburgh Steelers are due for a letdown game
Yes. Yes.
here.
Yes. Yes.
Like,
Sorry, I'm
they've-
so excited. Go ahead. Sorry,
They
I'm
haven't been like unbelievably impressive this year. They've been good, obviously. They're 4-0. But then again, the Browns are 4-1, and this is something we haven't seen out of the Cleveland Browns in years.
Wait, before
Good
we keep
reason.
going, you said the Steelers are 4-0. Do you know who they beat?
Yeah, they've beaten the Philadelphia Eagles, the Houston Texans, the Denver Broncos, and the New York Giants.
Those teams aren't
Those aren't
good.
Yeah.
good teams for the
Those
record.
are not. Those are bad teams. Those are bad football teams. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Keep going.
I mean, look, it's just one of those things where Pittsburgh is a solid football team, but they just don't excite me. And, I mean, we talked about kind of a similar mentality last night on Base Hit Ball 4, where the teams that are playing with an edge are winning. And I don't think it's just a baseball thing. I think that's a sport thing where it kind of really relates to anything. Like when you're playing with a chip on your shoulder, you're playing with some fire, and
Confidence.
you're playing with a purpose, then you're going to go out there and you're going to win the game. And you already have an edge the second the initial kickoff is kicked. But look, I'm a huge fan of the way the Cleveland Browns are playing this year. Their offense is just
Oh,
rolling,
they look
rolling,
so
rolling.
good. They look so good.
But their defense is where they lack a little bit. But I don't think the
A lot of
Steelers
it.
are as overpowering as – and not that a lot of people think they're overpowering, but I don't think that they have the gusto to push it against a Cleveland team like that. Like Big Ben
I
is
mean, Chase
aging.
Claypool
Like,
getting 4 touchdowns. When's that going to happen again?
it's not. Like, that's just a little outlier there. And, I mean, that was really the only reason that they won last week against the Eagles or 2 weeks ago. No, it was Sunday.
No, it was Sunday.
It was Sunday.
And they just barely beat the Eagles, too.
Just
They
barely-
just
like,
barely got by.
Look, they're due. They almost lost to the Giants week 1. Maybe not almost lost, but the Giants gave them a good fight, and the Giants are not a good football team. We've seen
Or
that.
not.
I don't want to harp on this way too much here, but I just think Cleveland's going to really push the ball against this Pittsburgh defense. I know they have a pretty good squad, but they have enough
What's the
playmakers to
over-under
really
in
get
this
past
game?
it. Say it again?
51.
What's
Yeah,
the over
51.
51? Oh, I think it's going to go way over. I mean, you're looking at a shootout between both teams. I think they're going to be throwing the ball left and right. But I couldn't agree more with the Browns. What, -1.5 at this point?
-3 or
Mi-
+3. +3.
Plus 3.5. And it's funny because as a home team, you should be getting 3 points.
Now they're on the road in Pittsburgh.
Oh, I thought they were home.
Now they're on the road, but
I
I
don't
mean,
think it matters. It don't matter.
So-
It don't matter. Stefanski, I think, has finally figured out how to use Baker Mayfield in that offense where he doesn't have that much pressure on him. And they didn't even need to use. The Browns didn't have to use Chubb. Or I'm sorry, not Chubb. Kareem Hunt as much as like they thought they were going to have to. And
Yep.
they put a good amount on Baker Mayfield's shoulder, and he looked good. Now he does have his injured ribs, and I don't really know how much that scares me, because that Pittsburgh pass rush is pretty good. I'd say it's pretty good. But I just can't not take the Browns anymore, man. I rode the Browns last week and the week before. I'm going to ride them again. I love it. I love it.
I mean, just like the typical Vegas rule of thumb here, like you get 3 points as a home team. I mean, that's really kind of like the widely known statistic. It's baked into the line a little bit. So Vegas is really seeing this as a toss-up, I guess, when you take that out. It opened at Pittsburgh -5. It's now -3. So they gave Pittsburgh the slight edge, and I just don't see it. And now with the line sitting at -3, you take out the home field edge, and these teams are evenly matched for different reasons. I would say Cleveland has the edge on offense and Pittsburgh has the edge on defense, but I'm going to go with the firepower there with Cleveland and pass this on to the next guy.
I'm on the other side of it.
Are you?
Really?
It was my make the case for the other side. Yeah.
All right, let's hear it.
Really? You
Yeah.
think
So
Big
I
Ben's
like.
going to lead this to a W?
Yeah, I do. I like the Steelers minus 3.5 here. And you've mentioned the defense, right? The defense, to your point, hasn't played good teams, right? But I can start at the front and work my way back. You mentioned the pass rush, and it's JJ Watt and Bud Dupree, or not JJ, TJ Watt and Bud Dupree, right? Those two dudes are going against rookie Jedrick Wills, right? In some sort of rotation, and then Jack Conklin on the other side. To me, like, I've watched enough Browns and I've watched enough game script to see like Jedrick Wills, and he struggles sometimes. Last week he struggled against Justin Houston, who has been in the league since 1999, right? I don't know if that's accurate, but Justin Houston's been around forever.
Yeah, he
And
belongs in, put him in a museum with Frank Gore.
sure, yeah, put him in the football museum, but he kind of struggled. He struggled against him, and he's just I mean, Justin Houston has obviously been around. He's just probably a smarter player than Jedrick Wills, knows how to beat a guy like that. I think TJ Watt and Bud Dupree probably also know how to beat a guy like that, just based on pure talent. Working your way back to the secondary, it's Joe Hayden and Steven Nelson, right? I think long are the days where Joe Hayden is like a top corner with the Browns. But to your point, they haven't really played anybody. So could they just be kind of, dogging it a little bit? Maybe. I think this is a game that the Steelers wake up for. They see the hype that, the Browns are getting this year and kind of try and shut them down. I'm not entirely sold on the Browns offense.
Have gotten that hype though for the past 3 years?
Sure, but when you get that hype for the 3 years and then you come into Pittsburgh and you're like 2-7, like who cares? Or you come in and you're like 0-2 because
you're still getting hype and you're still stomping them down.
Nah, this year it's I think this year it's legitimate. Like you can get the hype and come in at 0-2 and be like, these guys aren't who we thought they were. So let's just, keep it easy. Now they're 4-1. I think Pittsburgh wakes up for this game and puts them down. And like I was getting to, I'm not sold on Cleveland's offense. In the second half of the game against the Colts, Baker Mayfield was 2 of 9 with 2 interceptions. He wasn't good in the second half. They made adjustments.
What?
He wasn't good in the second half of the game yesterday when Indianapolis, who's had a solid defense this year, came out and made adjustments. They've came out and made adjustments, and Baker Mayfield struggled, right? And you mentioned Baker Mayfield. Yeah, they won the football game, but it's a new week. It's a new week.
I mean, they still put up 32 points against a Colts defense that's pretty good.
Sure, right.
My argument
I think Pittsburgh's defense is better. Hold on, I'm not done. And I don't mean to cut you off, but Baker Mayfield has sore ribs, right? Which you mentioned. So if TJ Watt and Bud Dupree and whoever else on that pass rush can get to him, and they don't even have to sack him on every play, if they could just put him in the ground, that's going to build up over time, right? It's a rib injury.
Look, Baker Mayfield could have sore ribs
or whatever at halftime.
Yeah, and then what? It goes into his lung and he can't play, and you're stuck with their backup.
Hey, this isn't an LA Chargers.
Baker Mayfield could have sore ribs. He could have spare ribs. He could have barbecue ribs. With the receivers that they have, with the potential, OBJ is the slant king. You have Jarvis Landry on the other side, who can also take it to the house on a short route like that. If the pass rush is becoming, it's going to be exactly how you're describing it. But like Nick said before, Stefanski is finding a way to do things with this offense and getting OBJ acclimated to this system and really coming into his own in Cleveland. This might be the best year of OBJ's career thus far, and we're only through 5 games. I just think they're going to find a way to get him open. And look, I don't hate the pick on either side because, like I mentioned before,
that's why
Cleveland has the edge on offense and the Steelers have the edge on defense. I'm not expecting it to be easy for the Browns by any means, but you're giving me 3 points, and I think they're the better team with the edge. I like that.
It was 3.5 points.
I don't know. Just the offense in the second half of the Indianapolis game kind of turned me off on them. Their defense is 25th in the league. I think it's it's not easy because it's my make the case, but I think I'm a little more comfortable betting on the Steelers than I am the Browns.
I'm putting my
money
on Browns money line here. It's gonna happen.
All right, we've harped on this game enough. Nick, Sam, who's up?
Okay, Sam? Let me make this quick.
Yeah, no, I don't know who I'm picking yet. So.
All right, this is
unprepared.
Mine got stolen.
I've talked about this.
Both of mine did.
I talked about this team last week. I talked about it probably the week before, and I'm going to talk about this team again. It's the Chicago Bears +3 on the road against the Carolina Panthers.
It's 1.5.
It's one. I'm going to take them +1.5. Okay, so the Carolina Panthers are 3-0 with losing Christian McCaffrey. Who saw
Because
that
running
coming?
backs don't matter.
Who saw that coming? What do you mean?
I did.
I didn't see them going 3-0, but I think it's reasonable to assume that a simplified offense is.
So I remember before the season, I probably was talking with Man or somebody else. There was somebody I was talking to that didn't agree that Teddy Two Gloves was the answer over there or good enough quarterback to get it done. And he isn't. Matt Rule does draw up a
They're
good
winning.
team. They're winning. Okay, fine. They're winning, but not this week. Hate to break it to you.
Well, they can still win.
Okay,
By
they
a
can
point, a
still
single
win, but they're
point.
not going to win.
They can't lose by a point.
Okay, so
They can't lose
in
by
general,
1-1.
the Chicago Bears have allowed the second fewest points in the NFC, the second fewest passing touchdowns in the NFC. So this game is going to ride on Mike Davis. I just don't think that the Carolina Panthers have enough firepower to come up against the Chicago team. Now, Nick Foles has thrown an interception every game that he started, so I will definitely probably put a player prop on him to throw another interception. But that is besides the point. You can still you can still have a turnover and still win the football game. Nick Foles has shown a rapport with Allen Robinson, with fossil Jimmy Graham. The running game isn't too bad, even with Tariq Cohen out. David Montgomery can run the football and catch it out of the backfield. The Bears' defense is still good. As much as people don't want to give them credit for, they're still good. I just don't think Carolina is. I think Carolina is just very due for a loss here too. At the same point, at the same time, I mean they beat they're 3-0. I don't really know how they're 3-0, but they are, and I don't think they're going to win another game. To win 4 games straight without arguably the best player in the NFL is kind of beyond me. If you're telling me running backs don't matter, I think that's a complete lie. I think luck is a more legitimate argument than that. I'm just going to take Bears plus 1.5, take a money line. I think they win the football game.
So I was actually leaning towards taking Carolina for my
Oh,
case, but I'm gonna mix it up. I'm gonna do something else, something I hate so much more. I'm gonna go with the New York Football Giants -2 at home against Washington.
New York Football Giants!
Sam, you know that means they have to win the game.
I know. I know.
I happen to agree with you here, but
See, I wasn't sold on the Giants' offense being as big of a dumpster fire as it is after the first 4 games, because they played 4 good defenses in those 4 games. And they played, I'm talking about the first 4, number 5 being the Dallas game.
Gotcha.
They looked sharp, and obviously they got some, luck here or there, but Jones looked better. God, I hate this so much.
Listen, the Giants could have won last week.
They probably should have won.
They should have won last week.
But and then,
well, that is with Andy Dalton manning
the Washington offense is, nothing to get excited about. With I think Kyle Allen's cleared, he'll be starting again.
Mm-hmm.
As great as it was, seeing Alex Smith take the field, like I'm still so worried about him taking a hit and his leg exploding.
Kudos to him, yeah. When Aaron Donald jumped on his back to get that sack, I thought I saw his life flash before my eyes.
I wish I had a pencil to show you what I was thinking.
Yeah. And kudos to that surgeon that repaired his knee for that to hold up, and Aaron Donald's jumping on your back.
They got a clip of Aaron Donald, he read his lips saying "Oh, that mother's leg is strong."
His surgically repaired leg.
I think that offense, Kyle Allen, Dwayne Haskins, I don't care as a quarterback.
Listen, I kind of think the Giants are due for a win.
The Giants' defense isn't bad.
I think the Giants are due for a win. I mean, they fought well last week against the Cowboys. They fought really well the week before against the Rams. I kind of think they're due for a win here.
Mm-hmm.
And they're, like you said, their defense is playing pretty good. Their offense you saw Devontae Freeman kind of figuring it out last week, and getting a run game is half the battle at that point. I mean, it all comes down to Daniel Jones not turning the ball over 3 times a game like it feels like every time, and making a smart decision every once in a while. But all it took last week was, the refs not making a holding call on that final drive, the Giants making that field goal on that fake, or making the touchdown on the fake field goal, and they win
Not
the
being
football game.
set. Yeah.
I mean, I think the Giants are kind of starting to figure it out. So, I mean, I'm not betting on it because I know if I bet on it, it's not going to hit and the Giants aren't going to win. I really want the Giants to win. So I'm not touching the football game with my actual money, but I will talk about it.
I'm kind of with you, Sam. As a Giants fan, I don't want to take the Giants because I see the writing on the wall. Like I know what's going to happen, right? And this is a Giants team that did look better last week against the second worst defense in the league, third worst defense in the league. So take that for what you want. If you want to put your stock in that and your money in that, that's fine. This game's going to come down to the
booster. That's a confidence booster.
For sure. This game's going to come down to the trenches, right? Because we know Washington's ability to get to the quarterback. At the very least, their defense can get to the quarterback, right? And the Giants' offensive line, at the very most, can't stop them or can at least like hold them for a minute or 4 seconds so Daniel Jones can throw. Nobody's afraid of a Daniel Jones deep ball. He's getting blitzed on like 90% of his, or like 68% of his snaps, and they're getting there. I know he can throw it, right? We've seen him throw it, but like he's not getting the time to throw it. That is what I'm saying. He's blitzed on like 68 or 69 percent of his passes. It's tough for him to look downfield when there are dudes in his face. And like, I'm afraid of Montez Sweat. I'm afraid of Chase Young. I'm afraid of that. Ryan Kerrigan has been a Giants haunter for like 17 years, what it feels like. And before
Chase
that,
Young
it was
should
London
be in a Giants
Fletcher.
uniform, by the way.
Huh?
Chase Young should be in a Giants uniform.
Yeah, if we didn't win week 17.
Yeah, against Washington.
If we lost
they
week
purposely
17.
lost. They purposely lost. Landon Collins knew he was losing.
I hate the Giants. I hate them.
It's a tough bet.
They're winning this week.
They're winning this week, though.
Yeah.
It's a classic scenario where the Giants go like 0-5 start the year and then win, half the games finish the year, screw themselves out of like a
Giants
top
win
3
this week.
pick.
I pop a bottle of champagne next week because I'm going to be so happy that they
I'll
won.
do it. I'll join you.
The winner of the NFC East is going to go into the playoffs at like 6-10. So like statistically, no, the Giants are not out of the playoff chase. But yeah, right.
I partially hope the Giants don't win for draft
stocks, yeah, for draft case, yeah, but like,
but for my own sanity,
I
after
want
watching
wins.
the Mets piss away their season, I need to watch the Giants win a football game.
Well, these are the kind of losses that you want, right? And what'd you say the line was? 3.5?
I'm looking at 2.5.
2.5. I mean, that's the kind of losses that you want, right? If they're going to
open at? Do we know what it opened at?
I could find it.
It had to open at high, right? It had to move down.
I don't hate under 4 or 4.5 as well.
I can tell you there
Giants
might be no
minus 3.
Score. There might be no touchdown score in this entire football game. That's how bad.
Wouldn't be surprised.
No.
I guess while we're on the topic of NFC East, I guess, Stick, I'm going to take the host reins from you. We can move on to Dallas and Arizona.
Go for it.
I'm all over Dallas.
This is an interesting game.
I'm all over Dallas on this line.
I'm with you.
They're getting 2.5 points. They're dogs to Arizona. What has Arizona done that has been like, you're making faces, Nick. What has Arizona done? They have Hopkins, and they have Murray. Murray, who literally only throws to Hopkins.
No, I mean,
literally only throws to Hopkins.
This is one of the lackluster. No. We just talked about the lackluster Giants offense. We just talked about the lackluster Giants offense. And how many points did they put up last week on the Dallas Cowboys?
7 from a pick 6.
It's okay.
7 from a pick 6.
And you look at the Arizona Cardinals offense.
And mostly field goals. 9 points on field goals. So that offense put up 12 points.
What does that matter? The Arizona Cardinals offense is highly superior to the New York Football Giants. Okay, maybe their defense
is very inconsistent.
Numbers would say otherwise.
Okay.
This is an Arizona team that is among the least efficient offenses in the league, that relies pretty much solely on Kyler Murray getting the ball to Hopkins, or Kyler Murray being like, shit, he's not open, let me run, right? And it works. It works. Sometimes. Not all the time. It doesn't work at a rate that is probably sustainable, which is understandable. That nothing going to one wide receiver and running every other down is probably not sustainable. And Dallas is getting 2.5 points here. So like even if this is an offensive battle, like I'll take Dallas and their superior weapons to an Arizona team that's going to rely on Hopkins essentially only.
Come on, not essentially only. I mean, you have a dual threat in Kenyon Drake in the back. Chase Edmonds, who is a very viable second man back there. You have
this is to me, this is a 6-point line if Dak isn't hurt, right? And obviously we could say Dak is hurt, so like that's fine. But this Dallas, I don't think this Dallas team is going to take a step back without Dak Prescott. But yes. Andy Dalton's about as good as a backup you can get in this league, right? Andy Dalton's led the freaking the Bengals to the playoffs.
Giants have a good defense.
Giants have a good defense. And you know who doesn't? Arizona. Arizona doesn't have a good defense.
Actually, Arizona has a top 5 pass defense and scoring defense so far. But a subpar run defense, and I think this is the week where they finally give Zeke the ball.
Yeah, let Zeke.
Know what the best way to keep the Cardinals out of the end zone is keep them off the field. Give the ball to Zeke 35 times this week. Only let Arizona have the ball for say like 18 to 22 minutes of the game. I think it's come down to can Dallas control the possession because they're going to have a simplified game plan for Andy Dalton. And I think Zeke needs to touch the ball 30, 35 times for this to happen. But I do like Dallas plus 2 money line.
Arizona jumps out early and Dallas has to play catch up the whole game, and
which they've done this year.
Andy Dalton can't
very
do it.
well.
And I don't think Andy Dalton
see, that's where I disagree. I'm with Sam and here on Dallas.
Like, I don't think Andy Dalton can do it. I don't think he can. I
think you're wrong,
Nick. I don't
Nick.
like McCarthy as a head coach either. That's my thing. I don't like McCarthy as a head coach there. What's the offensive coordinator's name?
Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore.
And Kellen Moore's offense has taken a step back. It wasn't what it was last year.
I don't know what you're talking about. Taking a step back.
They have the best.
38.
They have the
Remember last week when nobody agreed with me?
I think they had number 1 offense, like total yards, points.
100%.
Fine.
I don't know what step back you're talking about. They've scored over 30 points in nearly every single game.
With that,
put up nearly 40. Yes, so they're going
Andy Dalton came in and won the game. He was 9 for 11 for like 100 yards in the only snaps he took all game. He had to throw the football, and he threw the football.
Gallup and a missed holding call from the
regardless, though, you saw what he could do when he's got the time. And look, I'm with Sam and Mano on this, but not for the same reasons that they're on it, because I believe that Andy Dalton can get the job done.
He's a good
put Andy Dalton in
I think he can if he needs to, but I don't think he'll have to.
Andy Dalton can play quarterback as a starter.
If need be, yeah. I do think he'll be able to lead a team down for a fourth quarter comeback victory, but I don't see that as the case. I see Dallas dominating the time of possession in this game.
I don't think the Cardinals defense is going to be able to stop them. They let up 21 points a game, which is good, right? But they played 40. They played the 49ers, which was their big time win, right? Nobody saw that coming.
Turns out they stink.
Fine. Yeah, hindsight's 2020, but yeah, it turns out they stink. Since then, they've played the Washington football team, the Detroit. I almost said the Tigers. Wow. The Detroit Lions, Carolina, who's been good this year. New York Jets.
We just talked before about the Detroit Lions offense and how
many
weapons they have.
Yeah, but they didn't use those weapons. They ran the ball. They
had no Galladay that week either.
Look, right. Chandler Jones is out with a torn pectoral.
And Marvin Jones hasn't done damn thing. Start him every week, and he doesn't score.
I don't think Arizona can keep up to this.
They're not as good as we thought they would be yet, or they think they are yet.
I touched on this last week when the Giants were playing the Cowboys, and we were previewing this, when I said when the Cowboys got CeeDee Lamb at 17, I said, oh, shit. And we saw exactly why I said, oh, shit. Because James Bradbury locked down Amari Cooper. Michael Gallup was kind of a non-issue. And CeeDee Lamb went for 8 for 124. And with 11 targets. You can throw the ball to any one of those guys. And Andy Dalton is going to be a quarterback that he is a pass-first quarterback. Dak Prescott is more dual threat. I mean, not that he really takes it out of the pocket and runs so much, but he's got the legs on him to create those plays. They're going to draw up plays and allow Andy Dalton to make the simple throws, and these guys are going to get open. Nick, You can look like a
You
magic
okay?
8 ball all you want over there, but it's not
I
gonna
don't know how
happen.
Dallas is getting 2.5. I don't know how Arizona's
doesn't make
favored in this
sense.
game. Like it's
Yeah,
Dak
know.
Prescott is why they're not favored in this game.
It's true.
And the step back from Dak Prescott to Andy Dalton is significant. I don't think it's significant enough to make them nearly a field goal dog in this.
And I could see Dallas, playing fired up, knowing like, oh, let's go out there and win it for Dak.
Oh.
As much as you want to say it's bullshit or not, I could see it, or they come out flat, or we'll see. But
Dallas is home too. Why are they 2.5 dogs at home? They're gonna have a packed stadium.
This makes no
people in
sense.
Texas don't care.
Oh, they're home dogs.
Yeah, they're home dogs. Yeah, does that change your output? It shouldn't, because it should have been.
Nick hasn't had a single good
anyways.
reason why. It's the only. Arizona has DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray, and Dak Prescott's not playing quarterback. That's all Nick has against the Cowboys right now. You're playing devil's advocate.
That's not good. That's not good.
All right, let's move on.
That's not good.
Monday
You're
Night
stuck with that.
Football 2.
I'm not letting you argue
This is
all
actually
that.
the Monday
electric
Just sitting there.
boogaloo.
Well, you talk about the offensive weapons. What's your counter argument for offensive weapons?
For what? The Cardinals?
They don't have a counter argument. That's the problem. That's why we're picking Dallas.
They both have offensive weapons. Probably
Dallas are better.
Dude,
You're
All right,
okay. Fine. If you
go,
want,
go, get out of here. Go, get out of here. Go, get out.
I don't know
are you
how
comparing
you can
Larry
say that.
Fitzgerald and Andy Isabella to Michael Gallup and CeeDee Lamb?
Whoa.
Or not Andy Isabella, Christian Kirk. Does that make it better? Does that make it
Yes.
better?
Yes, it does.
By how much? By how much better?
Enough.
Not enough.
About 1%.
Not enough.
Enough.
Not enough.
Whatever.
This is
All right,
let's move on.
this was going to be my easy money game before I realized it was Monday.
Whatever.
Proceed.
Go,
All right,
get
let's
out
go,
of here.
let's
Get out
go.
of here. Go, get out.
Proceed.
Get out. Get.
All right, we got the Kansas City Chiefs. This game's at 5:00 on Monday.
Oh, that's awesome.
501 according
Yeah,
to
it's good.
FanDuel.
It's nice. You get out of work, you turn on the TV. You got Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen. I like that.
Oh, it's going to be electric.
So the Chiefs are -3.5 on the road in Buffalo against the Bills. Total set at 57.5. Wow. Chiefs money line at -200 and the Buffalo Bills at +170. This is
Can I
an easy
start-
one for me.
Can I start since I bet against the Chiefs last week and I was
Yeah.
right.
Don't
So
do
last
it
week
again.
You can't do it
I
again.
I'm gonna do it again.
Go for it. Yeah.
Oh, no.
The gif of Goofy. It's like the grunge Goofy, and he's like, "I'll fucking do it again." I'm doing it again.
Again.
This Chiefs defense, right, basically begged Derek Carr to beat them deep. And what did he do?
He
He
did.
beat him deep. Consistently. This Chiefs defense looked lost. They had no idea who they were playing. They might have been playing, they didn't know if they were playing Derek Carr or the other Carr. I don't know what his name is.
Big David.
David Carr.
Ford.
They got yeah, Ford. No, they looked like jalopies out there.
Oh.
Back on track here.
All right, we're here.
Watching the
We're
Bills. Listen, watching the Bills yesterday kind of scares me.
You're still gonna bet the Bills?
Yeah, I'm still gonna bet the Bills. I'm still gonna bet the Bills +5 and plus. I have them +4, but you said +3.5. I'll still take
3.5
that.
right now. Yeah.
Let me get to the meat here. Both teams are coming off bad losses, right? So both teams are going to make adjustments, right? The Chiefs are going to try to adjust their deep ball game, but I don't think that's something you can just fix, right? So are they going to do the same thing? Or are they going to let
You
Josh
can fix
Allen
it very easily when you have
You
Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek
started
Hill,
your
and Nico
argument
Hardman.
off with that they begged the Las Vegas Raiders to throw deep. So implying
I think they're going to ask Josh Allen to do the same thing. I think they're
Henry
going to ask
Ruggs is
Josh
also
Allen
the
to
fastest man alive, and
Yes, but
I don't think anyone can keep up
agreeing,
with him.
saying that you're begging the offense to throw the ball deep is saying, you know what, I'm going to relax and just let them go over my head. So that means they can make an adjustment and not let them go over their head.
Right, but that's fine. I think Josh Allen is good enough, and he's proved this year he's good enough to make those intermediate throws. Was he in the past? No. This year, yeah. He can make those intermediate throws. And I think guys like Stephon Diggs really play into that short game. And if they get into the situation where they, where they get in the scenario where they're like, shit, we're getting beat short, intermediate route, 5 yards, 6 yards, 7 yards, something like that, and then they bring guys up, we saw them get exposed deep. And what can Josh Allen do? At the very least, throw the ball deep.
You make that point.
I think
you intermediate pass to the 20-yard line, right? Now you're in the red zone. You hold
That's
them to a
fine. You
field
can't
goal.
make but you can't make an intermediate throw in the red. Like that you can't make a deep ball in the end zone.
What, would you rather give up 3 points or 7 points? What would you rather give up?
I'd rather give up 3 points.
Okay, and then
But I
if
don't
you
think
give the
that
ball to
Chiefs
Patrick
defense. I don't think
Mahomes,
that
he's
Chiefs
going to most likely get you 7 points.
probably. Yeah, but I
So
don't think
that-
that Chiefs. I don't think that Chiefs defense is anywhere near good enough to
And
stop
they weren't.
this.
It was the same defense that was there last year, and they were good enough.
But this is an offense that just gave up 40 points to Derek Carr, almost
Okay, but
willingly.
almost
Willingly.
Everybody has a fluke game.
I think you're trying to get
I don't
too
think
deep
it's a-
with this.
I don't think it's a fluke game. I'm all over Bills plus 4. Josh Allen looked better. He looked 3.5. Excuse me. He looked better in the second half. I have 16 of 20. The interception was bad. The Bills missed Tre'Davious White. They didn't have Matt Milano, so I don't know if those guys are going to be back this week. But if they are, like that's
You
too
think Tre'Davious
significant.
White's going to hold down that Chiefs offense?
See,
Yeah. Why not? Tre'Davious White is probably a top 3 corner in the league.
Okay, but you've seen Tyreek Hill only get 2 receptions, and the Chiefs still blow people out, right?
Yeah. I like the Bills. All right.
so
Bills plus 3.5.
let me go from there. So I've learned my lesson in betting against the Chiefs in. I'm going to consider this a primetime game. When they're playing, 4 o'clock against, Chargers, Raiders, teams that are kind of beneath them, when they got a big spread, that's time to bet against them. But when they're, maybe a little slight favorite in dog, like against Baltimore a few weeks ago. So I'm going with the Chiefs minus 3.5. And it's not because of how the Bills looked last night, offensively especially. Their defense is not good. You're used to talking about the Bills having a good defense, but so far this year it has been anything but.
By Ryan Tannehill,
They're in
bro.
the bottom half of the league in points, yards, turnovers, and sacks. So it's not a good combo when you're giving up a lot of yards, but you can't take the ball away. And they have the 24th ranked pass defense in the NFL. And that guy, Patrick Mahomes, he's pretty good at throwing the ball, if I'm not mistaken.
I would say so. That's a good
I
assessment.
do think it's going to be a bounce-back game for Josh Allen, but I do not think they're going to be able to keep up with the Chiefs' offense. I see a lot of points.
I mean, I see a lot of points here on both sides. I don't think the Bills' defense has – listen, I don't think there's any defense in the league that has enough to stop Patrick Mahomes in that offense. Now, I think last week they relied too much on Patrick Mahomes. They didn't rely enough on the run game. And enough on scheming last week, and I think that's where Andy Reid kind of messed up. Because you see Josh Allen, the Kansas City Chiefs are the worst in the league on first down plays. They're average the lowest yards on first down plays, and they figure, third down, we'll just let Pat Mahomes do his magic, which generally works, but last week it didn't. We talk about, we mentioned before about having Tre'Davious White back, and okay, maybe he kind of takes Tyreek Hill down from 7 receptions to 2 receptions. But then you open up Travis Kelce, who went, 7 for 110 last week?
And apologized for losing the game. Said it was his fault. He went 8 for 98ers. I think that's what it was.
It was something like that. And he said, sorry. Okay. And then you have Sammy Watkins, who was an afterthought when he was, where was he? Buffalo?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was an afterthought in Buffalo, and then he comes back, and now he knows how to play football again. McCole Hardman is arguably the second or third the third fastest person in the league. You have Demarcus Robinson, who is a very good third or fourth string wide receiver. The backfield is good between Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Damian Williams. I just don't see the Kansas City Chiefs not coming out firing on all cylinders. Andy Reid's going to be pissed off. Patrick Mahomes is pissed off that he lost a football game.
Big bounce back week.
I just don't. I just think it's going to be a blowout. I think they're just going to – I think every time that Patrick Mahomes – has the football on offense.
Oh, shit.
I think every time Patrick Mahomes has the football on offense, I think they score at least 3 points. And, they're going to have at least 10 possessions a game probably, and that's a lot of points.
Yeah, I'll wrap this up with short and simple. At Chiefs minus 3.5, I think you're looking too far into it. I think you're trying to get cute with this game. The way Buffalo looked yesterday –
It
does not look like they can contend with the Super Bowl champions.
He's trying to put that extra set of eyes on right now. Mano's putting that extra set of eyes on now right now with his glasses.
I have to pay to see, all right? It happens.
Yeah, this is almost a no-brainer to me. Like, I would be comfortable putting this game in my easy money category because it's the Super Bowl champions versus a team that just lost to a team that did not practice all week and is not decimated, but affected by COVID, and it didn't seem to bother them at all. And yeah, Josh
So
Allen
you
just
guys are
looked
all
bad.
over. You guys are. Do the Bills get no bounce back bump?
No.
They do, but not against the Super Bowl
No?
champions and the best quarterback we've seen in a long
I
time.
think offensively they will, but
Nope.
they're not good. They cannot. They're not able to stop.
So we're calling
Okay,
this a
wait, wait,
shootout.
okay,
Can I
do
just
you
break
wanna
this
talk
down?
About that? Who did we
Well, I
all
love
think
the
was gonna
over.
win who did we all think was going to win last night?
Bills,
Bills.
And what happened?
Titans.
They got those.
They got destroyed. They got
I actually
destroyed.
took the Titans right before game time, but
Okay, well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, that's besides the point.
I flip flopped.
You go in there, you look at the Bills that have a 2 week, like a week and a half to prepare against this Titans team who didn't go in a facility until Saturday, and they wiped them. They wiped them on the floor.
I don't know.
All right.
I-
We're saying this is
I
going
like
to
the
be a
Bills in this
shootout
game.
game.
Over 57.
No, I don't know. If it's
I
a
wouldn't go
shootout. I
that
think it's
far
gonna be
as
a
over
crazy high scoring
57.
game.
Oh, I'm taking it.
It's going to be a crazy high scoring game. I don't think it's going to be a shootout.
I'm just saying.
2 touchdowns.
We're
At
saying
least.
that it's going to be a
45-34.
back and forth game, and the one guy I want in a back and forth game is Patrick Mahomes, and it's
Bang.
not Josh Allen. I
And
mean,
give him less than a touchdown, please.
it's
Yes.
I
Yes,
don't know.
sir.
So that just about wraps up this episode of the capsON Sports Podcast. You can check us out on social media, on Twitter, capsON Sports, Instagram, capsON.sports. Now also on TikTok at
TikTok.
capsON.sports. If you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can also go check us out on YouTube. Just search up capsON Sports.
If you want to see my face.
Yeah, you can see all of our faces here. But yeah, word of mouth helps us a lot. Spread the word. If we make you money, comment, let us know. If you agree, if you disagree, interact with us. We want to talk to you guys. That's pretty much it. Anybody have any final thoughts before I completely sign us off?
Giants this week again, baby. Let's
Let's go Giants.
All right. For Sam Meehan, Nick Tobias, Anthony Mano, my name is Tyler Blumenstick, and we will see you next week for Week 7.
Yes, sir.